There's another way of doing this, which is first delete all of that and that, and I'll just bring these over here so I can see them, and we wire the signal just directly into here, so that will actually play through the whole thing because this part isn't adhering to the platform movement distance, which is how high the platform's allowed to go. So if we use this value to set the max value range here, then we can actually set how far along it goes in this timeline. So if we set that to be like 0.6, then it'll play until it gets to 0.6 of the way through this timeline, which is how it worked before, basically, but in a different way. But to set this, you can actually see there are lines going from this one input node to all four of these settings. So we actually have to use a combiner in 4 numbers mode. You can actually double check which mode you need if you put the output of this through a splitter. Then you can see which type it is. So that's the 4 and that's the 4, so that's the right one. And then wire that in. Now it actually goes in a different order to the order it looks like in here. The minimum range there and there is actually A and B, and then the maximum range is C and D. So this over here conveniently turns this amount over here into a percentage, which is the same percentage we need to go through this playhead, through this timeline. So let's use that value and just wire it into C, and then copy that with L1 and R2, the wire, and then plug it into there. And now that is setting this max value range. So now if you watch it, it should go up to where that preview was. There we go. And then down again after the pause, so that's working fine. Part of this logic though is that if you have something wired in to this port and then you turn it off, then it'll stop moving. So this needs to pause this or play it while it's powered and pause it while it's unpowered, so plug that into there. So now while this is on, then it's changing, and then when we turn it off, I'll turn it off in the middle there. You can see on the graph that it's paused at that point, and then when we turn it on again, it resumes from that point, and that's exactly what we want to happen. But if we pause it halfway through, then because this isn't powered, it's sending this signal, which is controlling the playhead, is sending a 0. So it's setting the playhead to be at the beginning of the timeline instead of wherever it was before. There's like 2 steps to solving that, and one is to have it power this as well. So while it's allowed to move, then it powers the timeline, that is the animation for moving. So that works the same as normal. And then we turn it off and it still resets because the playhead is set to 0 and because the timeline is off. But if we select the keyframes in here and then tweak them both to be keep changes, then when the keyframes become unpowered, it leaves the stuff that it changed alone at the point that it changed it. So when this timeline powers off, it will just leave the platform wherever it was. So now we play time, and then we turn it off, and it's paused there, right there, and then we turn it on, and it all works kind of as you expect. And goes down, and it's quite a few gadgets cheaper, a little harder to understand, but it's with moving some wires around, that would be fine. But yeah, it's just a cool other way of doing this. And the key to this is that this stores the position at the bottom and this stores the position at the top, because otherwise this keep changes stuff will kind of compound over time as it goes to this end and kind of mess everything up. So just make sure you've got it recorded at both ends. I'd like to thank RevPlayer, XCantaloupe, Donny the Burb, and all of my other supporters for making this tutorial possible. Check out TAPgiles.com to find out how you can support me in helping Dreams creators. Thanks for your consideration, and I'll see you in the next one.